Warning, refilling these fuel canisters has not been proven to be safe. These canisters are meant to be filled one time. Refilling these canisters is a risk you take on your own. Hey, what's up guys, Sean here. So today we're going to talk about a little issue that I have that you may also have. Half empty fuel canisters. Let's get it. So a month or so back, a company named Flipfuel reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in testing out one of their little fuel transfer valves. And I thought, yeah, it was a neat idea. I have seen these around, but I've never actually tried one. And they sent out a little pack with the valve in it. Has some cool stickers and stuff that goes along with it. And the instructions that tell you how to use it. And I got to testing the thing out, and it's actually really cool. But the problem is, I was trying to figure out, is this thing going to work for me? Is this something that I would want to tell you guys about? Is it something that's going to be useful to my subscribers? And I think it is. The issue is, there's already a ton of videos out there that show you how this thing works, right? It's very, very simple. I'll go through it real quick. I'm not actually going to use it right now because basically I have topped off all my canisters testing the thing out. But there's something I want to tell you about that I don't think a lot of people have really covered, and it's pretty cool. So let's get into that real quick. I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, so before I get started, I want to tell you something. This should be done in a well-ventilated area. You don't want to be releasing gas inside a confined space. Sparks, gas, confined space, boom. We don't want that. Plus, it could probably have some other negative effects on you. Also, you do not want to be refilling canisters that are excessively rusty. Just not a good idea. So this kit comes with some really detailed instructions. It's very, very simple to use. But the first thing you want to do is determine which can you're going to fill up. Now, I personally would lean towards filling up the canister that already has the most in it. So you've got one canister that has a good bit in it. You can tell this one's a little bit lighter. You're going to put this canister into this canister, right? Just makes sense. Now, Flipfuel was nice enough to provide me with a digital scale, but there's a simple way to test to see which one has the most fuel in it, if they're kind of close, and it's right on the can. So if you look right on this canister here, it has a gauge on the side of it that tells you how much fuel is in it when it's floating in water. Now this thing says that at 25% of the can in the water, there's only about 6 boils left. But as you get up to about 75% of the can in the water, there's about 18 boils left. And this thing has roughly 24 boils in it when it's brand new. So we're going to take a bowl of water and your canister. We're going to set this canister in that bowl of water, burp it, make sure that the air is out of the bottom of it, and see where it floats, and that'll tell you how much fuel is in this canister. Now the problem is, you don't want to overfill one of these canisters. If you look on this canister, it says that the net weight is 3.53 ounces. The net weight is what this weighs when it's empty. So the gross weight on one of these is roughly 7 ounces is what JetBoil says. So let's see what the little digital scale says on this canister, which floated about 3/4. So let's set this thing on ounces. Okay. So this, like I said, is roughly 3/4, and JetBoil says a full canister is about 7 ounces. So this thing's actually right at 7 ounces. 7.03 is what it's saying. So technically, I have this slightly over full. But it only floated to about the top of this line right here. So maybe that's what they consider full. Now, I'll admit, it's nice to be able to consolidate. You take a bunch of these little partials, you put them together, you end up with one full one. And that's kind of cool. You're making sure you're not wasting these. The only thing that I have noticed is there will still be a small amount left in one of these cans, even when you're done refueling it. And you can vent that with this valve, because this valve has a vent right here on the end of it. You squeeze that vent and it will actually let any little bit of gas that's left in there out. And then when you're ready to dispose of this, you just pop a couple holes in the top of it after it's been vented, and you can just toss this in the garbage. No worries. The nice thing, like I said, is you can top one of these up, and you know, okay, I've still got quite a few boils left in this canister now. I can head back out into the woods with it. But I think it goes a little further than that. Now at REI, this canister, the 100-gram canister, runs about $5.95. This 230-gram canister runs about $6.95. And the big 450-gram canister runs about $10.95. Now, this got me thinking. Just set aside the fact that you can consolidate, okay? Yeah, you can consolidate. You can quit packing a halfie, like they say. So you can consolidate all your cans into this can. That's nice. But let's talk about the money aspect of this thing. So now you've got this canister, which is over twice as much fuel for $1 extra. This canister is 4 times as much fuel, over 4 times as much fuel, for another $5. So what we're looking at here is, if you were to buy this canister for $10.95, you can refill this canister over 4 times. Think about the savings. This little valve right here, if you learn how to do this, now I'm going to talk to you about this in a second, but if you learn how to do this, you can use this canister to refill these canisters, and you can do it 4 times. And so that means every other canister that you refill with one of these is free, right? When you think about it, it's actually free. So you paid twice as much for this as for this, but there's 4 times as much. Now let me talk to you real quick about refilling this canister from this canister. Now we talked about not overfilling one of these canisters, right? That's where one of these digital scales is really going to come in handy. So we know that this canister full is 7 ounces. So if you take this canister, okay, you weigh it out, and let's say it weighs 3.5 ounces, 4 ounces. That's basically empty. You take one of these canisters, you screw it on top, right? You're going to take this valve and you're just going to burp that canister. You're not going to lay into it. You're going to go psst, psst, a couple times. Take that thing apart and re-weigh it, okay? You don't want to just sit there and fill this thing up, because you're going to end up over-pressurizing this canister with this big canister, and it could become a huge problem. It's going to be a little more time consuming, but if you do that, it's going to save you money. You know me, guys, I like anything that's going to save me some money. I believe this little Flipfuel valve is going to save me some money. So if you're going to do like I do, get you one of these little digital scales, be safe about it, and transfer you some fuel and save you some money. If you enjoyed this video, guys, give it that big thumbs up for me. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down there. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Be safe out there. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.